Hello everyone, welcome to Advanced Knowledge Systems and a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy, and it offers examination coaching for UPSC CSE, State Public Service Commission, SSC Combined Graduate Level Exam and also the CLAT examinations. And about me, I'm Sandeep Bhushan Tumala and I take up the analysis of the Hindu newspaper, that is DNA of today's, that is of 8th of April 2021. And throughout my session, I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, wherein we will identify the factual, analytical and conceptual questions which are critical for UPSC prelims perspective. And while you get into the mode of imbibing the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing for the mains examination, your answers would be precise and concise, and thereby you would score higher marks in the mains examination. So this session at AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis will certainly help you to crack both prelims as well as mains for the year 2021. And before we get into the DNA of the newspaper, we would be focusing at the quote of the day. And the quote of the day says that if you can't handle stress, then you won't imagine or you cannot manage success. So what is very important is, if you want to attain success, you need to start handling the stress what you are facing now. So the mantra for success is you handle the stress. And if you can't handle stress, then you won't manage success. And now we'll get into the DNA of the newspaper. And here we will be focusing at the keyword called as policy rates. And the policy rates by the RBI has kept unchanged. And the RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das has said on behalf of the Monetary Policy Committee has voted unanimously, and it has left or it has unchanged the policy repo rate at 4%. That is the rate at which the nationalized banks lends money to the, or the apex bank lends money to the nationalized bank. It is from the RBI to the nationalized banks or any banks. So this is the rate which has been unchanged, and it has been decided unanimously by the Monetary Policy Committee and been announced by the RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das that the policy rate has been unchanged at 4%. And this was an unanimous decision that unchanged of the policy repo rate at 4% is in accordance with the accommodative stance. It is in accordance with the accommodative stance which the government of India or the monetary policy has taken into consideration to make sure that to sustain the growth, the accommodative stance has been taken into consideration to make sure that there is necessity to sustain the growth on the durable basis, and it wanted to continue to elevate and lessen the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic situation onto the Indian economy. Therefore, the policy rate has been unchanged by the MPC, and it also wanted to ensure that the inflation remains within the target which it would move further in the next quarters. That is the target of which the inflation has to be 4%, or it should be +2 or -2%. That means it can be 2% or it can be 6%. So there is a possibility of the kind of band which is acceptable is +2% or -2%. So this is the one which the MPC is trying to make sure that it mitigates the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic situation, and also it is ensuring the inflation to remain within the target. That is why the Monetary Policy Committee has voted unanimously to keep the policy repo rate unchanged at 4%. So we have looked at what are the reasons why the Monetary Policy Committee has gone ahead with unchanging the repo rate at 4%, because it wanted to go ahead with continuing the accommodative stance, and it wanted to continue to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 onto the Indian economy and to ensure the inflation remains within the target of 4%, which is an acceptable of +2 or -2%. So these are the three reasons why the RBI or the MPC has voted unanimously to keep the policy rate unchanged. Please do understand these three reasons. These are conceptual understanding and which will be useful for even the prelims if a question is framed on what basis the following are the points which the Monetary Policy Committee has taken into consideration of unchanging the policy rate at 4% during the first quarter of the 2021 and 2022. And the key aspect of the strategy to keep the repo rate or policy repo rate unchanged at 4% is that this strategy will also strengthen, this is the fourth reason, it will strengthen the bedrock of macroeconomic stability. So here the key phrase is the bedrock of macroeconomic stability will also be strengthened by making sure that the policy repo rate is kept unchanged at 4%. And this is the one which has anchored India's revival right from the pandemic. So what is the one which has anchored India's growth revival from the pandemic is the bedrock of macroeconomic stability. So what is crucial that India's revival during the pandemic situation is because of the macroeconomic stability which the MPC and the RBI along the finance ministry has taken into consideration to anchor or to make sure that there is a surge in India's growth. And the RBI governor has also said that the RBI is optimistic about the kind of demand which is now being experienced across the country, that is the pickup demand or pickup in demand. And this pickup in demand will certainly go ahead with expansioning the business activity this year, so that once the business activity is expansioning this year, that is 2021, there would be India's growth revival. And now we will focus not only in regards to the policy repo rate unchanged at 4%, and not only that, the reasons we have looked at and what the RBI is optimistic about the pickup in demand and the expansion of the business activity, but we will also look at what is the demand in, especially in the rural India and also in the urban India. So this is very crucial for the analytical concept, because we need to understand what kind of demand is that which is prevailing across the country and which will impact the India's growth, that is the GDP. So we need to understand the rural demand and also the urban demand. So as per the statement made by the RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das, rural demand is at buoyant. That means it is surging. And also in regards to the agricultural production, which is part of the rural demand, is at the resilience. That means there is a strong push forward in a positive directions in regards to the agricultural production, that is in turn leading buoyant to the rural demand. And when we come to the urban demand, and urban demand has also gained the traction, that is it is moving in a positive direction because it has got a kind of fillip to the economic revival or the business activity because of the ongoing vaccination drive. So please do understand the kind of link between the vaccination drive and the urban demand. Please do understand this. And once you can understand the conceptual understanding of the link between or the direct link between the vaccination drive and which would give a fillip to the business activity in the urban India, and that in turn would add value or it will increase the urban demand so that the India's GDP would also revive. So this is the way you need to focus and then link it with one or two keywords with another two or three keywords so that it would be a very good kind of a small short notes for your mains answers. So the direct link of vaccination drive towards the urban demand. So this is the way we need to focus about the policy rates unchanged. And not only that, now we will look at what the RBI governor in regards to the NPC keeping or unchanged 4% of the policy rate which we have focused, and that how the RBI governor has focused about the GDP growth and also about this CPI inflation, that is consumer price index inflation. So now we will focus at the two keywords, that is the GDP growth, and we will also focus at the consumer price index inflation. So as a civil servant aspirant, you need to understand what is that the growth is taking place in each and every quarter of the financial year, that is quarter 1, 2, 3, 4. And also you need to understand that linking the growth with the inflation or inflation with the growth, how it is directly proportional, or it is making sure that inflation is lessening the growth, or it is increasing or surging the growth. That is in regards to the demand and also in regards to the business activity, and in turn the growth of India's economy increasing, and also in regards to the jobs, how the employment is created. So in that aspect, now we will focus at the projection given by the RBI, that is taking into various factors into consideration. RBI has projected the real GDP growth of India for the year 2021 and 2022, and they have focused, or they are kept at the GDP growth of India for the year 2021 to 2022 at 10.5%. So this is the crucial information that the RBI has focused at various factors into consideration and then projected the GDP growth at 10.5%. And if you look at the 2021-2022 quarter one, would be projection 26.2% in first quarter, and 8.3% in quarter two, 5.4 in quarter three, and 6.2 in quarter four. So taking average of the all the 4 quarters for the year 2021 and 2022, the GDP growth of India would be 10.5%. And look at it, the way in the first quarter it has increased, that is a projection. Second quarter has decreased, third quarter further decrease, and fourth quarter a little bit of slight increase comparing to the quarter 3 of 2021 and 22 in regards to the growth. So this is the analysis which you need to take it into consideration as a civil servant aspirant, that it is crucial for you to understand how you would actually be answering the question even in the interview also. And now we will look at the other point, other keyword, that is in regards to the consumer price index inflation, which the RBI has taken into various factors into consideration and revised the projection of the CPI inflation. And it has put the, or recorded the CPI inflation to 5% in quarter 4 of 2020-2021. Please do focus here, 2020-2021. Quarter 4, that is last quarter of the 2020 and 2021, it is projected at 5%. And if you look at the projection of the CPI inflation for 2021 and 2022, this is first scenario, this is second scenario. For quarter 4, it is 5% CPI inflation of 2020 and 2021. But if you focus again the projection of the RBI for 2021 and 2022, quarter 1 the inflation would be 5.2, quarter 2 5.2%, again quarter 3 the inflation will come down to 4.4%. It will reduce, decrease, that is it is in control. But again when you look at the quarter 4, it would be the CPI inflation would again increase to 5.1%. Thereby the inflation would certainly be reduced in the quarter 3, but it would also have an increase in quarter 4 of 2021-2022. So we have focused very analytically about the two keywords, that is the GDP growth and the CPI inflation, which the RBI is projected taking into various consideration. This is crucial for mains perspective and also having an conceptual understanding about how the each and every quarter the projection is being taken up by the RBI. And now we will also look at the mention by the RBI in regards to the GSAP 1 version, that is Government Securities Acquisition Program. This is the key phrase which you need to follow for the prelims as well as mains perspective. So what is that? The government through the RBI has come up with the Government Security Acquisition Program, that is version 1, that is 1.0. The RBI has also decided now to put the Government Security Acquisition Program in the secondary market. Please do understand, you have primary market and secondary market. So now the government, what you need to understand for prelims perspective is which among the following statements are incorrect in regards to the GSAP 1.0. So government security acquisition program has been decided by the RBI to put in place in the secondary market. This is crucial. Not in the primary market, in the secondary market. And it also, that is in regards to the government security acquisition program, the central bank, that is the Apex Bank, would make sure that it is committing with an specific amount in the open market purchase of the government securities. And by making sure that there is specific amount of open market purchase of the government securities, and this commitment by the RBI, that is the central bank, is taken into consideration for enabling the stable and orderly evolution of the yield curve. That means the progress, because there is definitely a comfortable liquidity condition in the market. Thereby, with the comfortable liquidity conditions in the market, the central bank is now committed to upfront to a specific amount. Why? Because I reiterate again, because of the comfortable liquidity condition, the central bank has committed to upfront to a specific amount of open market purchase of government securities, so that it will enable stable and orderly evolution of the yield curve. So this is the RBI which has decided to put in place the government security acquisition program in the secondary market. And for the quarter one, the RBI has decided to announce the GSAP 1.0 with 1 lakh crore. That is making sure that upfront of specific amount, that is with 1 lakh crore. And with this, the first purchase of the government securities will be done with a 25,000 crore aggregate amount, and this would be done under the GSAP 1.0 version, and this will start from April 15, 2021. So that means the government security acquisition program, which will be in the secondary market, would be the first purchase would be with the amount of 25,000 crore, and it would start its purchase from April 15, 2021. So we are focused from various aspects in regards to the policy rates kept unchanged. So do understand the entire scenario about, we have looked at the policy repo rates unchanged, and also about GDP growth and inflation, and also about the GSAP 1.0. So this is the way you need to analyze the newspaper and then get it ready for the prelims and mains of UPSC. And now we will look at, there are incentives which are provided for the solar energy sector. So the incentive for the solar energy sector is crucial, and it has been decided by the Union Cabinet and approved the two schemes, that is the two production linked incentive scheme. So this is the one which we were, at AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis, we have been taking up this scheme, which the government has come up since almost couple of months back. And now the government of India, that is the Union Cabinet, has approved two PLI schemes for white goods and for high efficiency solar photovoltaic models. So these are the two areas wherein the Union Cabinet has approved the PLI scheme, and this PLI scheme is critical for prelims as well as mains examination. Please do understand the importance or the criticality of the PLI scheme. And now the PLI scheme has been approved for two, that is white goods. So what comes under white goods? That is air conditioners and the LED lights. So these are the two which are part of the white goods, that is air conditioner and LED lights. And these white goods, along with the high efficiency solar photovoltaic models, have been approved by the Union Cabinet as part of the production linked incentive scheme. That means you will have incentive only depending upon the production. So it is very clear that your incentive is directly proportionate to your production. This is the main intention of the government. That means there would be incentive only as per the production, and now this scheme is applied to or been approved to white goods and high efficiency solar voltaic models. And this applying or approving PLIC scheme for both of them is a step forward for the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is self-reliant India, and they have approved 6,238 crore for the PLI scheme, especially for the air conditioners and LEDs, that is for the white goods. The government which has approved 6,238 crore is for white goods, that is air conditioners and LEDs. And the another program is in regards to the solar photovoltaic models, and this is a national program. Please do understand here, the solar photovoltaic model, apart from the white goods which the PLI scheme has been approved, is a national program, and this national program on the solar photovoltaic models will reduce the import dependency in the strategic sectors such as electricity, and thereby again emphasizing on the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan scheme. And the main or the prime objective of the approving the PLI scheme is to make sure that the manufacturing in India is globally competitive. Please do understand this, manufacturing in India is globally competitive. And how the manufacturing in India would be globally competitive, which is a prime objective of the PLI scheme, is by removing the sectorial disabilities, if any, and creating economies of scale and ensuring efficiency. So thereby, by removing any sectorial disabilities, by creating and by ensuring efficiency, the manufacturing in India would be globally competitive. And this is a prime objective of the PLI scheme in the solar photovoltaic models and also the white goods which have been approved by the Union Cabinet. And this has been designed to create complete component ecosystem in India, and also making sure that make India an integral part of the global supply chains. That means, as we said about the manufacturing India would be or should be globally competitive, thereby the complete component ecosystem, which is make India an integral part of the global supply chain. That means Make in India would be part of the global supply chain. That is the prime objective of the PLI scheme, that is production linked incentive scheme. So we have discussed at length about the PLI schemes which has been approved by the Union Cabinet to the white goods and the solar photovoltaic models. And now we will focus at what is the budget which has been approved or which has been allocated to the white goods. That is production linked incentive scheme now would extend an incentive of 4 to 6% on the incremental sale of goods. That means only through the production of the goods, then the incentive would be up to 4 to 6%. That are the goods which are made in India, and this incentive of 4 to 6% would be provided for the 5 years. And the scheme, that is PLI scheme, is estimated to lead an incremental investment of 7,920 crore over 5 years, and this will lead to production worth of 1.6 lakh crore. Please do understand, it is investment is 7,920 crore, but production, it will lead to 1.68 lakh crore and it will create 4 lakh jobs. So this is the conceptual understanding which you need to understand, that how this scheme will enable or it will pump in the investment, and then it will have the production of 1.6 lakh, 8 lakh crore, and it will create 4 lakh jobs. And the cabinet has also approved the proposal of Ministry of New and Renewable Energy for the PLI scheme for high efficiency solar photovoltaic models with an outlay of 4,500 crore. So definitely This is an incremental investment for the production linked incentive and to create 4 lakh jobs. And now we look at another news which talks about a new chapter. This is the statement made by Rouhani. That is, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani has said on April 7, 2021, while there was a talks going on between the Iranian delegations and the representatives of the remaining parties, that they were having the discussion in Vienna, that the discussion was in regards to rescuing a troubled 2015 nuclear deal. And while discussing, the Iranian president has said that these talks in Vienna has opened a new chapter in regards to the 2015 nuclear deal or Iran nuclear deal. And the Iranian delegation with the representatives of the remaining parties, that is P5 plus 1 countries, one countries, that is Germany. This is Germany. One is Germany. Or you can take it as European Union altogether. And this P5 is the permanent 5 countries with one that is European Union. They had a discussion, and here in the discussion they were discussing how to bring Washington, that is US, back into the Iran nuclear deal of 2015 or back to 2003, and when they are pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal in the and the kind of discussion was also in regards to the US sanctions and the Iranian countermeasures. So definitely it was how to bring Washington back into the nuclear deal, Iran nuclear deal, and also they were discussing to end the crippling US sanctions onto Iran, and also they were discussing about the Iranian countermeasures against US in regards to the US sanctions on to Iran. And US President Joe Biden said that he is ready to reverse the decision which his predecessor, that is Donald Trump, has taken to withdraw from the 2003 nuclear agreement or Iran nuclear agreement, which was actually taken by his predecessor, that is Barack Obama. And now he wanted to also withdraw the kind of unilateral sanctions which were taken by US onto Iran. But no doubt the US was not present in the discussion in Vienna talks, because Iran has refused to meet the US in the Vienna, because the reason is that it wanted to stay away until unless the sanctions by US are onto Iran, or only once these sanctions, economic sanctions, are removed from US onto Iran, only then Iran is ready to have or to meet the US delegation. But instead, what we have seen in Vienna is that European Union has acted as an intermediary, and they have said that the entire opening talks was a positive assessment. And in turn, we have also looked at the Iranian president has said that the meeting at Vienna has opened a new chapter. This is in regards to the international relations and also in regards to the Iran nuclear deal. Between the kind of this is between Iran and P5 plus 1 countries. And we will look at another news which the RBI has extended support of 50,000 crore. And here when we focus at that, now the RBI has come up to extend a support, fresh support of 50,000 crore to whom? To all India financial institutions. This is the key phrase, that the government, on behalf of the government, the RBI has supported a fresh inflow of money of 50,000 crore to the all India financial institutions for the year, that is financial year 2021 and 2022, so that this support of 50,000 crore will mitigate or it will alleviate or lessen the impact of pandemic, and it will also aid economic revival. So these are the reasons why the RBI has come up with the fresh support of 50,000 crore to the all India financial institutions, is to mitigate, elevate or lessen the impact of pandemic and to aid economic revival. And this signals the importance of asset reconstruction companies. This is again another key phrase. As we have looked at All India Financial Institute, one of the key phrase. The other one is, it is signaling that how important is the asset reconstruction companies, because these asset reconstruction companies would deal with the bad loans, and the RBI has said that it would constitute a committee which would undertake a comprehensive review of the working of the asset reconstruction companies which are part of the financial sector ecosystem. Please do understand here, there would be an asset reconstruction companies and a committee would be formed to undertake a comprehensive review. That means a committee would be focusing on the asset reconstruction companies, and it would focus at the working of the ARC, that is asset reconstruction companies, which are part of the financial sector ecosystem. This is again the keyword. That means the asset reconstruction companies which will deal with the bad loans are part of the financial sector ecosystem, and thereby the RBI, to make sure that it would review the working of the ARC, it would set up or constitute a committee. So this is the link. ARC will focus at the bad loans, which is ARC is part of the financial sector ecosystem. A committee would be constituted to look into the working or to review the working of the ARC. So this is the importance of the ARC, asset reconstruction companies. There could be a probability of a question being framed by the UPSC in the prelims in regards to the asset reconstruction companies. Which among the following statements are incorrect in regards to the asset reconstruction companies? And the committee which would be constituted to review the working of the ARC will in turn recommend suitable measures, so that measures would be taken up to meet the growing requirements of the financial sector, which ARC would be part of the financial sector ecosystem. And now we will look at the three facilities which have been provided by the fresh support of 50,000 crore by the RBI, and those three facilities are being provided to NABARD, to National Housing Bank, and to the SIDBI. Now we will look at how the NABARD would be provided the amount. It would be provided a special liquidity facility, that is SLF, of 25,000 crore for a period of 1 year, and this will be provided, that is special liquidity facility will be provided to support the agriculture and allied activities, which the NABARD would actually focus, and it will also focus to support the rural and non-farm sectors, and also to support the non-banking financial companies, NBFCs, and microfinancial institution. Please do understand, there are various keywords which are popping up in this concept of what we are understanding by the RBI infusing their fresh support of 50,000 crore to the financial institutions or all India financial institutions. And the next facility provided is for the special liquidity facility of 10,000 crore would be now provided to the National Housing Bank for a year of 1, and this will support the housing sector. Please do understand, NABARD would support agriculture and allied activities. It would support rural non-farm sectors. It would support non-banking financial companies and the financial microfinance institutions. And the other facility is to provide or to infuse the special liquidity facility of 10,000 crore to the National Housing Bank, NHB. And this NHB is also a very crucial or critical part of UPSC prelims question. NHB, National Housing Bank. There were in the past questions being asked in the prelims about the NHB. Which among the following statements are correct in regards to the NHB? and another 15,000 crore will be provided to the SIDBI for a period of 1 year, and this SIDBI will further fund the MSMEs. So this is again another keyword that is micro, small and medium enterprises. So if we look at 25,000 crore and then 25,000 crore to NABARD, 10,000 crore to National Housing Board, and then 15,000 crore to MSMEs or particularly to SIDBI. So definitely now we have looked at the entire 25, 15 and 10, 50,000 crore, and this is the 50,000 crore fresh support provided or extended by RBI to the All India financial institutions. So All India financial institutions here, now they are the three facilities provided to NABARD, National Housing Bank and to the SIDBI, and all these three facilities would be available to NABARD, NHB and SIDBI at the prevailing policy repo rate, that is at the existing policy repo rate of the RBI. Please do understand, this is the crucial conceptual understanding that the amount special liquidity facility will be provided to NABARD, NHB and SIDBI at the prevailing policy repo rate. That is, at that particular time, whatever the policy rate would be, on that basis, the facility will be available or provided or extended to the All India financial institutions, which NABARD, NHB and SIDBI are part of it. So, this is a very crucial information for prelims and mains economy UPSC perspective. So, I hope this session was informative, knowledgeable, and I would say a very big thank you to all. Good luck to you all, and then do maintain consistency, stick to your schedule and take care of your physical health and mental health. And do not forget to like the video, share the video and subscribe the AKS IAS Academy English Medium YouTube channel, and also have access to the website and to the Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy, that is Advanced Knowledge System. And then see you again tomorrow for the daily news analysis at AKS IAS Academy. Till then, thank you, goodbye, and then take care.